Ever wonder why restaurant burgers stay incredibly juicy while yours turn out like dry little hockey pucks? Well, the secret is sitting in your pantry right now, and it's baking soda. Hey everyone, I'm Daniel, your culinary chemist dad, and welcome to this explainer. I am so thrilled you are here. Today, we're throwing on our figurative lab coats, and we are using a little bit of pure chemistry to create the absolute most tender beef you have ever tasted. All right, let's just dive right into it.
So I've got to ask you directly, why is it that when we cook ground beef at home, it so often just seizes up, dries out, and turns into this tough, crumbly hockey puck? It's a culinary tragedy, honestly. But it's one we are going to completely solve today using pure, unadulterated chemistry. And our grand lab experiment to prove this, the cheeseburger muffin. Now look, I know what you're thinking. A cheeseburger in a muffin tin? Has the lab equipment finally gone to my head? Just trust the process, guys. It's going to blow your mind.
Here are our lab notes for today's experiment. We've got 6 phases: prepping the catalyst, the baking soda secret, engineering the flavor matrix, layering the variables, the Maillard bake, and finally, some experimental variables you can try. All right, phase 1, prepping the catalyst. Because time is our ultimate flavor builder.
Let's move to our first really crucial step, which is all about the dough. Now, I'm using an 80% hydration dough that I prepped yesterday. The absolute key here is that it has been cold fermenting in the fridge overnight. You see, 80% hydration plus cold fermentation equals unbeatable flavor. Time acts as our ultimate catalyst here. Think of it like a long-term experiment. By letting that dough chill in a cold environment overnight, the yeast works incredibly slowly. The enzymes actually have time to break down those complex starches into simple, beautifully complex sugars. This gives you an airy, bubbly profile that a quick-rise, same-day dough literally just cannot touch. It makes a massive difference in the final product.
Moving on to phase 2, the baking soda secret. This is where we neutralize the toughness.
Let's head over to the stove. We're getting our pan nice and hot with some extra virgin olive oil, tossing in some sliced onions, and adding our organic ground beef. And right here, this is where we introduce the ultimate dad secret. I am sprinkling exactly half a teaspoon of baking soda straight over the raw meat. I know, that sounds a little crazy, but stick with me here. Sodium bicarbonate is a pH buffer. A buffer essentially alters and stabilizes pH levels. By adding just that tiny sprinkle to our beef, we're actually raising the pH level on the surface of the meat. This fundamentally changes how those protein fibers are going to interact the second they hit the intense heat of that pan.
So without our buffer, ground beef proteins hit the heat, they completely panic, they link up super tightly, and they squeeze out all their moisture. Bam, that's your hockey puck. But with our baking soda buffer, that higher pH causes those protein fibers to basically unfold and relax. They literally can't bind together as aggressively, which leaves us with impossibly tender, melt-in-your-mouth bites of beef.
I absolutely love this analogy. Think of it this way. Baking soda is like the ultimate social mediator at a highly tense party. When the heat gets turned up, it literally calms the aggressive proteins down. It hangs a do not disturb sign so they stay completely relaxed and refuse to form those tight, exclusive, tough little cliques that completely ruin our dinner.
Or imagine those proteins like grumpy teenagers crammed in the back of a minivan, or like people in a crowded elevator. The baking soda acts as an invisible buffer, drawing a line and giving everyone just enough elbow room so they don't squish together and force all the moisture out the doors. Now, a very firm dad-level warning here for all my kitchen chemists. Do not exceed half a teaspoon. We want tender, juicy meat, not a muffin that tastes like you're eating a bar of soap. Respect the chemistry, guys, and stick to the half teaspoon.
Phase 3, engineering the flavor matrix. We are preventing the soggy bottom.
All right, so our perfectly tenderized beef is browned. We've added a little Himalayan salt, Worcestershire sauce, some pepper, and garlic powder. Now we have to prevent the dreaded soggy bottom, because nobody wants a leaky muffin. So we're going to add a little beef base dissolved in water, along with a cornstarch slurry. Think of this as structural engineering right inside our frying pan. Here is the logic. If the cooking heat releases those delicious beef juices, then the cornstarch granules undergo gelatinization, basically swelling up to absorb that liquid. The result? Those juices are completely trapped in a thick, stable flavor matrix. We aren't just cooking here, we are literally engineering a binding agent that protects our dough from getting soggy while locking in absolute maximum flavor.
Phase 4, layering the variables. It's time for building the jelly roll.
With our meat mixture cooling off just a bit, we enter the assembly phase. I've got some semolina dusted on the cutting board, and I'm stretching out our beautifully airy fermented dough until it's nice and flat.
We are basically creating a massive, savory jelly roll. We take that warm, stabilized beef matrix and spread it evenly right across the dough. And now we delivered the flavor payload. A little drizzle of mustard and ketchup, a few pickles scattered about so you get that classic burger bite. Tomatoes, but notice, we specifically squeeze the seeds out first so we don't introduce excess water and ruin our carefully engineered matrix. And finally, Gouda cheese cubes. Now why Gouda? Well, because it has a higher melting point than standard American cheese. It survives the heat and stays structurally present in the experiment, rather than just vanishing into the bread.
Speaking of building the perfect flavor profile, I've got a question for you. What is your ultimate top secret burger topping? You know, the one your friends think is totally weird, but you absolutely swear by? Drop it in the comments section below. I am always looking to expand my lab variables, so let me know.
All right, as I carefully roll this beautiful dough into a nice, tight jelly roll, I have a quintessential dad joke for you. Why did the cheeseburger go to the gym? To get better buns. I know. Cue the groans, but I really couldn't resist. Anyway, after we roll it up, we slice it into 1-inch pieces, place each piece flat into a well-oiled muffin tin, and hey, just because we can, we're going to top them with a little extra cheddar cheese.
Phase 5. The Maillard Bake. This is where heat meets chemistry.
So, we let these cut rolls proof for an hour so they essentially double in size. Think of it as the dough expanding its horizons before the final test. Then, they go into a 350-degree oven for about 35 minutes. But there's one more scientific trick up our sleeve. We are placing a steam tray at the very bottom of the oven. Why? Because of oven spring. Oven spring is the rapid final expansion of dough inside a hot oven before the crust hardens. The steam prevents the exterior crust from setting too early, keeping it nice and flexible so the dough can reach maximum glorious volume before it finally locks into place. And while that oven spring is happening, the outside is undergoing the incredible Maillard reaction. Now this isn't just burning, this is where amino acids and sugars essentially high-five at temperatures above 300 degrees Fahrenheit to create that deeply savory, crispy, golden brown crust on top of our muffins. It is literally a flavor party happening right on the surface.
Oh man, the smell of these coming out of the oven is just incredible. Fresh dough, tender beef, melted cheese, wow. As these glorious creations cool off for a second, I want you to confess something to me. What kitchen science experiment did you try that completely failed? Did you explode a cake, melt a spatula, set the smoke alarm off? Let me know in the comments. We have all been there, trust me.
Phase 6. Experimental variables. Time to try this at home.
Okay, the moment of truth. Breaking open one of these cheeseburger muffins is a thing of absolute beauty. You can see the perfect, airy cell structure of the fermented bread. The Gouda is melted, but it's totally intact. And the beef, it is unbelievably juicy. That pH buffer trick worked flawlessly. Our experiment is an absolute success. Now, I want to turn the lab over to you. I highly recommend you screenshot this right now. Here are 3 experimental variables you can run in your own kitchen lab. Variable A, the pH test. Try baking one batch with the baking soda and one without, and physically compare the mouthfeel and tenderness. Variable B, the lipid factor. Swap out the Gouda for sharp cheddar or pepper jack and observe how the oil separation affects your dough. Or variable C, the catalyst. Try adding some kimchi or sauerkraut inside for a wildly delicious fermentation fusion.
So, I leave you with this final thought. Are you ready to run your own cheeseburger muffin experiment? You now have the baking soda secret, you completely understand the pH buffering, and you know exactly how to engineer the perfect flavor matrix. Get into the kitchen, embrace the science, and treat your family to something truly amazing tonight. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay curious, and God bless.